Despite a very late stoppage time Golazzo overhead kick from Chelsea starting striker Joao Pedro, despite that, I think Chelsea are in the worst form of their entire history and existence of 121 years. Of course, we've lost 6 games on the bounce, the previous 5 without scoring a single goal. And in stoppage time, we got that Joao Pedro goal, losing only 3-1 to a heavily rotated Nottingham Forest side as they prepare for the second leg of their European tie midweek. So we got slapped up at home by Nottingham Forest's B team. A Forest that, to their credit, they are in good form. I think they're 10 unbeaten and they're the top scorers since Pereira's come in or something like that. I mean, mental stab. It doesn't change the fact how Chelsea are at home against a very heavily rotated Nottingham Forest, and they just dealt with us so easily. I think despite that late Chelsea consolation goal, I think this is probably, because we went over, it's like best part of 10 hours without scoring. I think this is the worst form, or certainly matches the worst form in Chelsea's history of 121 years. Of course, there's context. In the 80s, we went down to the second division, yada, yada, yada. But the rot is bad. It is real bad. And this game was an absolute tragic comedy. It was a disaster. Our only bright spark in, the opening stages was, of course, Jesse Derry, the 18-year-old winger that started on the left wing, I think in the absence of the likes of Garnacho, Gittins, Stevao, Neto, I think as well. I'm looking at the bench now. Yeah, so the options weren't there, so Jesse Derry was given a chance. He looked like he did really well. And bless the kid, he got absolutely sparkoed. He got knocked out and stretched off and taken straight to hospital. There's been an update on the coverage. Apparently it's a precautionary visit. I think he was knocked out essentially and got a concussion. Such a shame for the lad, Jesse Derry. I watched him live at the beginning of the season for the under-21s against Man City. Him and Shim Mayuka sort of really... Reggie Walsh and some others. There's some really amazing talents, but Jesse Derry is really good. So I feel absolutely gutted for the boy. Hope he's okay. He did get applauded off the pitch by both sets of fans, and in a just twist of fate, the same thing happened again with Gibbs White of Forest and our goalkeeper Rob Sanchez. Sanchez had to come off of also, I think, concussion. Philip Jorgensen made his return to the bench, so he came on. And, what else? Malo Gusto concedes a dumb penalty. Tosin plays absolute butt cheeks. Palmer looks like a shadow of the player he was once at Chelsea, missing a penalty. And I just knew he was going to miss as well, man. I just knew he was going to miss. There is a chaos theory thing here because, the penalty that he was awarded and missed. And I think at that time it was 2-0 or something. It was a lifeline to get back in the game and maybe come back and win it. Maybe. I don't know. And that penalty with the Jesse Derry incident probably wasn't a penalty. But actually Anthony Taylor... Our mate, Anthony Taylor, missed what was a stone wall penalty on Gusto earlier. Was it Bakwa? Who did it? I'm trying to think who. Someone fouled Gusto. Yeah, Bakwa. He's got his arm around his legs in the box, pulling him down. If Gusto makes a bit more of a meal of it, it's a penalty. For me, that's a stone wall penalty, and the one that we got wasn't. So there's this chaos. By the way, I'm going to get into Chelsea more broadly. But there's this in the context of this game, there's this chaos theory moment where you could say, well, if we got the actual penalty we were supposed to and there wasn't a big concussion delay, Palmer maybe scores it. And Jesse Derry, again, chaos theory, butterfly effect, doesn't get knocked out, doesn't get stretched off to hospital. I'm not trying to blame this loss on Anthony Taylor. It's very much on Chelsea Football Club. It's just this game personified where we are at the moment as a football club. Let's take a look at it here, then look at the stinkiness. The Cole Palmer 5.8 rating, lowest rating on the pitch, broadly because a missed penalty would be a huge contributing factor to that. Feel sorry for Joao Pedro. He's kept the standards up. He scored an absolute world. I mean, it was an absolute worldie, wasn't it? Cucurella puts the ball in, he chests up in the air. It was giving like Drogba overhead kicks it to an unsavable part of the goal. And actually, he scored another goal that was literally a Nats so-and-so offside. And one of Antoine's goals was like, it looked the same, and his was given. Sod's Law, Joao Pedro's wasn't given. It was this 4-4-2 that they've sort of started playing under Vitor Pereira. Forest, as you can see, no Gibbs White, no, if you look at their bench here, Nico Williams, these are all like starters here. Maybe even Amari Hutchison, Chris Wood's been starting, Morgan Wood, Gibbs White, Elliot Anderson, all these guys are starters. It was very much a B team exercise for Nottingham Forest to prepare for, like I said. Bigger fish to fry. This is the biggest of fishes we'd like to fry because we want to win a football. Do you know what the frustrating thing is? I still had like a morsel of belief, because if we won today, if Chelsea Football Club, Chelsea FC beat Forest's B team at Stamford Bridge, God forbid, then I think we would have been 1 point off 6th. And if we're 1 point off 6th, maybe we can get 6th because we're 1 point off 6th. If you look at the teams we'd be fighting against, and Aston Villa could probably win the Europa League, and therefore 6th place would have been Champions League qualification place. We would have been the most undeserved qualifiers in the competition's history, but it was still there. But it's so naive, because I know you think, Callum McFarlane's come in and, we got a pretty good performance in the semi-final win, but yeah, Man City must be rubbing their hands together. Spurs. We dreamt about sending Spurs down at Stamford Bridge. They got a win against Aston Villa in their last game. You had what's his face, De Zerbi watching on. I mean, this was another thing. Like the camera directors, they were having a field day. They were showing De Zerbi in the Stamford Bridge crowd, pretty much like licking his lips. Okay, right, well, we'll beat this lot, no problem. You had Thomas Tuchel watching on, of course, former Chelsea manager, Champions League winner, probably looking at the likes of Gibbs White, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer had an absolute stinker, bless him. Obviously, Trev Chalobah, he likes. It's his former stomping ground, Chelsea. Penny for Tuchel's thoughts as well. I'm not going to go into too much like revisionism about the Thomas Tuchel stuff, because there are stories that's about how a parting of ways had to happen professionally with him at Chelsea, not like in terms of what he achieved with Chelsea, yada yada yada. So fine, it's in the past. Another heartbreak was just watching, Thiago Silva. Congratulations to him for winning the title in Portugal, the league title. Watching Chelsea with his boys who play for Chelsea and the academy levels, thinking, because he loves Chelsea, Thiago Silva as well. He must be watching on, going, what is happening to this team? And I suppose we have to talk about that. Let's just quickly wind up a little bit more of the game, and then we can speak about this sinking ship. Alright, so, yeah, let's get back to the look quickly. As you can see, attacking momentum. Chelsea passing the ball around. Loads of attacking momentum. Penalty missed. See, that at that point there, this penalty miss after the concussion, this was the moment for me that was like, yep, we're F-worded, because this is goose. The penalty, look, the first goal, the Awoniyi goal, is fine. It's not fine, it's awful, but like, whatever. It's very early, it's a slap in the face. Really, really good cross. Quite a good header. It was just a bit criminal how free as a bird he was in the box. But whatever. Just dust yourselves down. Go do something. This is idiotic from Gusto. The shirt pull in the box, clear as day. They're always going to see that on VAR. I don't know what's going through his head. He's got rocks in his head at this point. And then Palmer, that's the moment for me. I was like, well, we're obviously never going to score again until Joao Pedro scored that insane goal at the end. And of course, and when you get to second, early in the second half, that just kills the game off. Chelsea fans at Stamford Bridge singing against Clearlake, Iqbali, probably all sorts of other stuff as well. Understandably and rightly unaccepting of what's going on. Pretty even in terms of expected goals. Or the XG on Joao Pedro's was probably nothing. It was probably 0.03. Two big chances from Chelsea. And again, that Joao Pedro goal wouldn't have been a big chance either, of course. 3 from Forest. 21 Chelsea shots to 6 Forest shots. And don't this say everything? Every other shot, they score. Every other shot on goal, they score. We took 21 shots to score 1. 21 shots to score 1. They take 2 to score 1, and they keep scoring. The mind boggles. It is embarrassing. Lineups again, of course. I was quite happy with it, really. As happy as I can be in terms of what's available. Obviously very excited to see Jesse Derry. Unsurprising, Tosin got hooked. There could have been positive stories. Obviously the main one would have been hopefully winning a game of football with perhaps that Joao Pedro wonder goal. But, Fernandes continually looking like he's okay at playing football. I know Romeo Lavia is a divisive footballer at Chelsea Football Club, but he does have exciting qualities. If you watch him, you're like, he is a different profile. He can make Chelsea better. And of course, the biggest story from it, apart from Derry starting and getting that nasty injury, would have been Colwill coming off the bench for Tosin at half time as well, which feels pretty wild actually. We literally had no attackers. The only attacker on the bench was Liam Delap. He got a effing yellow card. Of course, Liam Delap came off the bench and got a yellow card and dropped a stinker. Excuse me. I am done, man. I mean, look, to his credit, Santos, bless him, 7.3 rating, came on, did something. I feel bad for a lot of these players, not all of them, but my word, I mean, Cole Palmer, we need to talk about this kid at some point, probably in a bit more detail. Rating breakdown, 5.8 shots, expected goal 0.92. I guess that's from penalty as well. 5 total shots. I like high shot volume. I think it's important, but you've got to score goals, mate. Right then. We're screwed. We are totally screwed. It's such a bummer, man. Because you think McFarlane, different voice, through to a friggin', final. Maybe we beat Forest, get 1 point of 6. It's the hope that kills you. Champions League football and FA Cup. There is not any reason on this good earth why I should believe that team that I just watched is going to beat Man City in a final. With the greatest of respect to Callum McFarlane, our mate Shane, who hasn't got a pro coaching license and is somehow taking Chelsea Football Club to an FA Cup final at Wembley against Josep Guardiola's Manchester City. We are through the looking glass here now, gang. We are in some sort of weird fever dream that I will never understand. There's so much unknown. There's talks about how important Champions League qualification was for Chelsea financially. There's talks about transfer targets to fill these severely lacking voids in the Chelsea squad and team, not just in terms of player performance profile, but in mentality, in character, in maturity, all severely lacking at the moment. Sort of like, massively evidently, we can all see that. But is there the money? People are saying there's no money. Well, like I said, we'll find out, won't we, when we'll see if we sign players or not. It won't be long now. The transfer window will be open in no time at all. Of course, the unrest with the hierarchy and ownership will continue. There'll be probably another blue co-out protest before you know it. Whether that's going to force them to sell the club, whether there's any buyers out there with good intentions, I don't know. I would like the sporting hierarchy to step down or get sacked. You know, I have a real disdain for this sort of Bedad Eghbali flanked by his goons. You know, optics, the aesthetic of freaking Winstanley and Stewart all walking around like little gremlins flanking Bedad Eghbali, trying to swing his so-and-so around. I've just had enough of it, really, mate. We are so dysfunctional. They've built a team of exciting sort of odds and sods in terms of the player here and there, and the foundations are so clearly lacking that they're just seeing the product of their, or just what they built, basically. This is your product. This is what you developed at Chelsea, and you've demonstrably failed, mate. You know, the season last campaign, that was clearly an exception to the rule. And it's very, very concerning, man. It's very, very concerning. I just don't know what to think, say. You just got to sort of ride out the rest of the season. It's like I said earlier, it's the hope that kills you. But for me, I feel like the hope is gone now. So, can I live? Am I allowed to live? I'm losing my mind. This team is killing me. I have to come on here and try and pick the bones out of it. And often, I talk to you how I feel. This is what freaking show is called Football Therapy. The channel's called Football Therapy. And that's, I suppose, what I tried to offer. But my word, man. It's almost like becoming apathy now. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. And what changes? I mean, obviously we don't have a manager. That will help. The McFarlane, like I say, doesn't have his UEFA Pro license, whatever it is, the top coaching badge. We just don't have that. We're in a complete mess. Ultimately, you would think the investors to clear, the people's equity that are being looked after would surely be asking questions to clear their capital, like, what is happening with our money? You know, because we thought we were, a distressed asset. Are we becoming a distressed asset? Are we purchased as a distressed asset? Regardless, I feel distressed. Anyway, guys, it sucks. Big donkey. Beep. And I don't know what's going to happen. Thank God the season's nearly over. At least you'd have to worry about someone buying Cole Palmer, because who's going to spend 100 million quid on this kid's? And I wanted to spend some time on Cole Palmer, because I do think, we relied on this talismanic guy for a long time. Joao Pedro is, in that game, two players can hold their head up high, Joao Pedro and Enzo Fernandez. And it was nice Jesse Derry was trusted for a start, but that's it. That's it. Everything else is terrible. Leaking goals, structurally fragile, volatile, vulnerable, inability to. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, and we'll end the content in just a second. Pour one out for Liam Rosenior, man. Maybe it just wasn't all. I do feel increasingly bad for Rosenior, and what he saw, he was like, that Brighton game, his last game in charge. He did get a hard ride, and I don't think he was ready for the job. But I think in many ways he was looking at, because remember he picked up off Maresca. Maresca had 1 win in 9. Rosenior had 1 win in 9 when they both got sacked, or Maresca sort of decided to stop. And And then Rosina comes in and wins 5 in a row. But it's almost like the players just pick themselves up for a little bit. I think the squad's pretty rotten, man, and just lacking in belief and just fragile. And maybe it is reductive, but maybe it is as simple as just like they're kids and they're not good enough mentally and they can't bounce back against hard times and they have not been put together well and the project needs to be ripped up, man. Anyway, let me know what you think. Try and not let this silly football team ruin your week, even though it's going to be hard if you're a Chelsea fan. And I'm sure, no doubt, we'll be getting briefs over the next couple of days about how Chelsea are going to turn this around and how they're going to sign friggin' 25-year-old Messi somehow. And Xabi Alonso's going to come in and manage us. And I'm pretty friggin' mad at this point. But anyway, I'll be back. I'll do Chelsea news daily, of course. Keep it locked. Thank you for liking and subscribing on YouTube. Thank you for following and 5-starring on your preferred podcast platform simply by searching Football Therapy Podcast. And we will try and drag each other through. All right, then. Peace. Yeah.